support.
The maestro, please!
End of October, so it's time for a pop analysis, and boy, this was not really surprising. And that's because today we're going over Taylor Swift's new single off of her new album, The Fate of Ophelia.
Taylor Swift.
This one marks 7 times that we've talked about Taylor Swift, which is not really surprising considering it's Taylor Swift. The last 2 songs of hers we did were the sleeper hit, as well as the lead single off of her previous album.
And for a fortnight there we were, forever running.
Unsurprisingly, Taylor Swift has continued to get more hits, whether they be singles,
You know you're good when you can't even do it with a broken heart.
or just songs she had on an album.
Now I'm down bad, crying at the gym. Everything comes out teenage.
Background.
The Fate of Ophelia was originally released on October 3rd, 2025, charting 2 weeks afterwards at number 1, again, unsurprisingly. As of the beginning of November, it is still number 1. For those familiar with classic literature, The Fate of Ophelia is actually referencing the character Ophelia from William Shakespeare's Hamlet. The Fate of Ophelia referring to how she died. She drowns due to madness from grief and or romantic rejection. Obviously, the song is popular and thus apparently warranted an acoustic version, which was released, oddly enough, just earlier this week.
All that time I sat alone in my tower. You were just honing your powers. Now I can see.
The Fate of Ophelia is from Taylor Swift's latest album, album number 12, The Life of a Showgirl, which was released on the same day, October 3rd. As of right now, The Fate of Ophelia is the only single from the album, but I imagine we'll get more. My money's on Opalite for being the second single. Joining Taylor Swift on the creation of this song are 2 throwbacks who worked with her earlier in her career, Max Martin and Shellback. We've mentioned Max Martin a number of times on the show now, the previous 2 being and since then, he's continued to work on a number of pop hits, oddly enough, both with Ariana Grande.
We can't be friends, but I'd like to just breathe.
And The Weeknd. Shellback is another returning contributor that we've talked about before on the show, mentioning them back when we did.
'Cause I don't care, as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere.
Oddly enough, they had another pop credit on that same album that I Don't Care is off of, that being
Beautiful people, top designer clothes, front row fashion shows.
but he's obviously had other hits outside of Ed Sheeran as well.
It's only you, and you know that it's real. So why would you
The Fate of Ophelia is released solely by Republic.
Form.
The Fate of Ophelia is listed as a dance pop, funk, or synth pop song, is 3 minutes 46 seconds, is an F major or D minor, depending on your mood, 4/4 time, and 124 beats per minute. After the instrumental piano intro, we get the first verse,
I heard you calling on the megaphone.
followed by the first pre-chorus,
And if you'd never call for me.
the first chorus,
All that time I sat alone in my tower. You were just honing your powers.
and then the first post-chorus.
100 on the land where the seas, the sky.
We then get the second verse,
The love was a cold bed.
a second pre-chorus,
You wrap around me like a chain, a crown, a vine.
a second chorus,
Late one night, you took me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of.
and the second post-chorus.
Pledge allegiance to your hands, your team, your vibes.
We then get a bridge,
Is locked inside my memory, and only you possess the key. No,
the third and final chorus,
save my heart from the fate of Ophelia.
the third and final post-chorus,
About to be the sleepless night you've been dreaming of.
and then the short vocal outro, which ends the song.
Ophelia.
Piano.
The piano is the first instrument we hear, well, besides the drums. It opens up with these syncopated chords going G minor over D, D minor, F major over C, and C major. You will note, though, that this is actually a 5-bar phrase, a common occurrence in this song that we will see. During the other sections of the song, it does keep that same idea, the syncopated chords and the 5-bar phrase, but now we have different chords, B flat major over D, F major over C, D minor, and once more, 2 bars of C major. It's good to note, though, that it is not always 5-bar phrases. There are a number of 4-bar phrases as well. You'll notice, though, it is still the same idea harmonically. G minor over D, D minor, F major over C, and then C major, except now the C major is only for 1 bar as opposed to 2.
Bass.
The bass pretty much does what the piano's doing in terms of those syncopated rhythms, and it's just doing the root of each chord, given it has a passing tone every now and again for some added flavor. But it's basically just going G, D, F, C. During the heavier parts of the song, in this case the chorus, it still does do those syncopated rhythms and is still playing the roots of the chords. In this case that would be B flat, F, D, C, with again some passing tones. But now an additional bass line is added underneath in terms of whole notes to kind of give it a bit more oomph. Again though, it is just doing the same notes. In addition to that, during the 4-bar phrases, again, syncopated rhythms, a whole note underneath, roots of the chord, but it now has more of an up and down motion. Here we still have the notes that we had before, but now notice that when that goes to that G, it then goes down to that D, goes up to the F before dropping to the C.
Omnichord.
The omnichord, which looks like this if you've never seen one before, is basically another synth, but you can also strum it as opposed to playing it similarly to a piano. Another harmonic figure, doing chords with the B flat major over F, F major over C, D minor over F, and C major over E with that little passing tone at the end, basically doing what the piano's doing during the chorus. It is really just to emphasize the harmonic structure that the piano does, though, bring it out a bit more. G minor over D, D minor, F major, C major. Some of the positions are different from what the piano is doing, but the thing I want to point out, though, is notice that the arpeggiation, or the strumming kind of pattern that's happening, is only happening every other bar, as opposed to every bar.
Guitar.
Similar to the omnichord, the guitar is really just a supporting harmonic structure to flesh out the chords a bit more. You see the pattern that it does, though, hits typically on different beats than the omnichord or the piano do, but it's still the same chords. Here during the chorus, B flat major, F major, D minor, and then 2 bars of C major. Same idea repeats into the post-chorus, G minor, D minor, F major, C major.
Keyboards.
There are a number of keyboard patches put throughout the song, like in this instance, we have another synth up top to add a bit more flavor, and we have an organ underneath playing G minor over D, D minor, F major over C, and then C major with that passing tone at the end. Additionally, we get another keyboard that has a choir patch on it, but again, really just supporting the harmonic structure, G minor over D, D minor, F major over C, and then C major.
Verse.
The verse starts off having Taylor Swift very low in her range. The highest note she actually hits is the D, and that's not even the D on the staff.
I heard you calling on the megaphone. You wanna see me all alone.
The rhythms aren't too complex, and neither are the melodies, given that we do get the occasional melisma.
As legend has it, you are quite the pyro. You light the match to watch it blow.
The second verse is almost identical, given there are changed words, but there are a couple more of embellishments, especially on the word fantasy in this phrase.
The eldest daughter of a nobleman, Ophelia lived in fantasy.
She She does this sort of word painting again at the end of the second verse in this phrase right here on the word sanity with the layered vocals.
Love was a cold bed full of scorpions. The venom stole her sanity.
Pre-chorus.
Obviously, things start to pick up a little bit more in the pre-chorus. The rhythms still aren't too terribly complex, and neither are the melodies, but we do finally start getting a bit higher in her range, now getting at least to the F on the staff.
And if you'd never call for me, I might have drowned in the melancholy.
She continues to get a little bit higher, now getting to the G, but in the second part, we do have this lovely back and forth between her and her backup vocals.
I swore my loyalty to me, myself, and I, right before you lit my sky up.
In the second chorus, we still get a little bit more, not necessarily from the main vocal line, but from the supporting vocals in the background. We have that lovely D minor chord going to an A minor chord on the phrase "come for me," and notice the doubling on purgatory. It almost sounds church-like.
And if you'd never call for me, I might have lingered in purgatory.
The second phrase of the second pre-chorus does do the same thing, that back and forth, given their changed words, but now we have this big melisma at the end, getting all the way to the A on the staff in terms of her range.
You wrap around me like a chain, a crown, a vine, pulling me into the fire.
Chorus.
Finally starting to get up there in her range, all the way to that higher C on the staff. You'll also notice that the rhythms are a lot more insistent. There are a lot more eighth notes in there, sort of picks up the pace a little bit, and we have that little echo at the end for that 5-bar phrase.
All that time I sat alone in my tower, you were just honing your powers. Now I can see it all.
That same idea repeats in the second part of the chorus. There's an echo on Ophelia, we get as high as the C, it's a lot of eighth notes, and a little bit bigger of a melisma on Ophelia.
Late one night, you took me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia.
The second chorus repeats all of that, but we now have an additional vocal layer on the majority of the phrase.
All that time I sat alone in my tower, you were just honing your powers. Now I can see it all.
Those vocal harmonies are embellished even more in the phrase immediately after that.
Late one night, you took me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia.
And on top of all of that, in the third chorus, there's an additional ad-lib line as well.
All that time I sat alone in my tower, you were just honing your powers. Now I can see it all. I can see it all.
So ultimately, the chorus ends with 3-part harmonies in addition to a more embellished ad-lib line underneath everything.
Late one night, you took me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia.
Post-chorus.
The post-chorus combines elements from the other sections we've heard before, minus the verse. Notice that we still have these eighth note lines that we had in the chorus, but we now have this back and forth element that was introduced originally in the pre-chorus.
100 on the land, the sea, the sky, pledge allegiance to your hands, your team, your vibes.
This makes the post-chorus sort of this unifying figure between the pre-chorus and the main part of the chorus to tie in the entire section of the song neatly.
Here, where the hell you been? 'Cause now your mind is about to be the sleepless night you've been dreaming of. The fate of Ophelia.
Because the post-chorus can be seen as this unifying figure, we really don't get a change until the third post-chorus at the end of the song after the third chorus. That ad-lib line that came about in that part of the chorus actually continues into this section as well, taking place of the back and forth that we heard before. It also now pops up more often.
100 on the land, the sea, the sky, pledge allegiance to your hands, your team, your vibes.
That continues through the rest of the section, but we do have a bit more fleshed out at the very end before we get to the Fate of Ophelia in terms of that 3-part harmony.
Here, where the hell you been? 'Cause now your mind is about to be the sleepless night you've been dreaming of. The fate of Ophelia.
Bridge.
If you thought she was singing low in the verses, she gets even lower during the bridge, all the way to that low D, way below the staff. This is also the most rhythmically intense part of the song, because we have these syncopations now on the 16th note.
Is locked inside my memory, and only you possess the key, no longer drowning and deceived, all because you came for me.
The second phrase of the bridge is almost the same as the first, except now we have this extra octave layer over top her singing so low. And obviously we have this big melisma at the end to take us into the final part of the song.
Locked inside my memory, and only you possess the key, no longer drowning and deceived, all because you came for me.
Outro.
The one phrase outro basically repeats what she says at the end of the post-chorus, given it's a lot lower.
You saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia.
So the Fate of Ophelia and the album that it's from, The Life of a Showgirl, is meant to mark this new era of Taylor Swift, going back to her pop roots, as opposed to even earlier, which would be her country roots, or even just her last era, which was this sort of indie folk pop with Folklore, Evermore, and the Tortured Poets department. This is why we don't see Jack Antonoff on here and instead see Max Martin and Shellback, who worked with her on like Reputation in 1989. I will say, the song is very poppy and is a bit of a bop. It grows on you the more you listen to it. It's amazing to think this was all basically made and recorded during the Eras tour. Sure, there was a break between November and February of 2023 and 2024 where she could have actually just relaxed, but no, instead she made this music during
All that time I sat alone in my tower, you were just haunting your powers, now I can see it all. Late one night, you took me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia.
I mean, it's Taylor Swift. I figured she was gonna occupy a good chunk of the chart. I didn't think she would occupy the 12 top spots, though, simply because there are 12 tracks on the album.
100 on the land, may I see the sky, pledge allegiance to your hand.